Diplomacy is not an option. Not just a good set of words to live by if you're a Skaven,
Fuck you, man things.
but also an indie game that has come out that has recently stolen my heart with its charm and campaign and its mechanics, you know? It's a great game. It has got to be probably my favorite strategy game of that I've played in 2024, right next to Empires of the Undergrowth. In Diplomacy's Not an Option, you get to play as a medieval lord and you get to try and build up a city while you're attacked by one of three factions, alright? So it's a mix of city builder, RTS, strategy, and just like resource management, and it's very similar to another game that I've played called They Are Billions, which is also a great game. The devs just kind of disappeared, but I think Diplomacy's Not an Option like innovates and does something a little different that I think is very interesting, all right? So what makes Diplomacy's Not an Option so interesting is the city building aspect, right? It is slower paced than the combat, but it is like integral to the combat because how built up your city dictates what units you build and what buildings you can build and like do you have any defenses and stuff like this. And since it takes like days to set stuff up in this and on the city side of it, it slows your pace for combat, right? This isn't your StarCraft. There's like a pause button, you know? So you don't need to be a crazy good RTS player to get good at Diplomacy's Not an Option, which I appreciate a lot. Another aspect of the gameplay that I find so interesting is that the mechanics really fit into this idea of building up a city. Like, you've got to have a graveyard with dudes to, bury your dead, and you've got to have like all your resource buildings like wood cutters and stone and iron mines, but you also need things like markets and taverns, and you need to have like public fountains and hospitals so your people don't get sick. And there's just like a bunch of these neat little mechanics that I would love to see expanded on that make the city building side of things so interesting. And it just feels like so personal that it's like it's your city that you're building up, even if it is like just like for one game and then you move on to your next city. And I think another thing that really feeds into this idea of your city being yours and these people being people is that workers have to physically move around, and there's like time taken between walking from a stone mine to the resource to drop it off, and builders have to walk around. You can't just click a button and they instantly start building something, which I think is great. And this also really feeds into this idea of as you expand across the map, you have to spread your infrastructure out. You have to add more builders' huts. You have to add more production and like resource depots, and you have to like start to like build up certain sectors as you get more space because you need to specialize certain areas and you have to really manage your space. And you've also got to build up defenses in certain areas. Defenses that you are going to need desperately because every couple days, whichever faction you're fighting are going to be sending truly massive waves of enemies. Like, truly insane, right? And these factions include angry peasants, because medieval lords, you always have angry peasants. Angry knights, because I guess you didn't pay them or you pissed someone off. And fucking zombies, which is by far the most unique faction to play against because of their units. And those waves turn this nice little indie city builder into an oh god, oh fuck, they've broken through my walls, someone get the orbital death laser online right now. I love it, alright? And this is just the endless mode. There's a campaign. And, in said campaign, you get to play as an alcoholic nobleman who gets attacked by angry peasants, gets forcefully volunteered to go to the new world by your king who is incompetent and probably inbred, and you get besieged by your king's own men. You have to build your own boats. You have to put down riots of peasants before you even set sail. Then, when you set sail, you almost die, shipwreck, fight off the locals. Gee, I wonder what this is a reference to. capture this baddie, and then you get the choice of either ransoming her off or raiding undead tombs where you get berated by a skeleton wizard for being an asshole. This guy's calling me a dickhead. And eventually, you can just, like, kill yourself after fighting Rock and Roll Godzilla.
Seatbelts, everyone! Please let this be a normal
Plot.
with a friend? No way!
Like, the story is unhinged, and I've only gone down one path. And I really hope the other paths maintain this level of pure insanity, because I haven't even made it through probably most of what they've released. Like, no, dude, it's awesome. I lean towards the stupid fun aspect of storytelling, and there's more split missions that I haven't explored, and like all the dialogue is fun, and it's just filled with charm. Like the game will break the fourth wall regularly. They'll call out the devs. They're like, yeah, the devs needed you to teach this mechanic, so that's what I'm doing. It's like, what the fuck is happening? And sometimes the cutscenes are so real, because sometimes a character will deliver like the nobleman bad news, and you'll just sit in your chair and they'll just awkwardly stare at you, and it'll just like cut back and forth, and it's just pure silence. It's an excellent game, and it's a lot of fun. Like, let me just reiterate this one point that you can see for yourself, literally. The graphics are excellent. Less is more, people. Less is more. Like not even just the buildings, but the units are super cute, and like it's great. I love the simple design and how like readable everything is. And I just love watching like my small town grow into a massive fortress. And I can't wait to see it be developed more, because it's in early access right now, I believe. That's the little end to my mini review. The driller video will be out later this month, probably. I will be back at school, so it might be a little inconsistent getting uploads from me. We shall see. Have a good rest of your day, and lower quality uploads will continue until morale improves. Thank you all. Do all the YouTube stuff.